locally?
Thank you, Your Worship. I have nothing.
Thank you. Turn this on. Thank you. Councillor Peterson.
I just have one thing under section 12, I think it is. Not a question, a statement, a council statement.
Okay. Councillor Walls? Fuel, I'm sorry.
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Graychuk.
I have one item, Your Worship, in camera.
Yes?
I guess under 14.4, item pertaining to twice, section 16.
Thank you. And I have two items under council statements, and that will be 12.3 and 12.4, I guess. And administration.
Your Worship, we have nothing, thank you.
Thank you very much. Take a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
So move, Your Worship.
Thank you. We have a motion to accept the agenda as amended. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is confirmation of the minutes of the June 21st, 2017 regular council meeting.
I so move, Your Worship.
We have a motion to accept the minutes for the June 21st, 2017 regular council meeting. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is Traffic Advisory Committee appointments. We have some information on that. That was also presented to us. Councillor Sobel?
I'd like to make a motion, Your Worship.
Thank you. I'll take the motion, please.
I would move that council appoint Mr. Dean Young to the Strathmore Traffic Advisory Committee for a one-year term ending October 31st, 2018.
Thank you. Any questions? I have a motion to accept the appointment to Mr. Dean Young to the Strathmore Traffic Advisory Committee for a one-year term ending October 31st, 2018. No discussion. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next is 2017 election provision for special ballots, and I think, Ms. Sawatsky, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Worship. Council has expressed some interest in providing special ballots to citizens and for them to vote during the election in October of this year. Administration is bringing forward a report to Council in order to do this. Special ballots have a lot of regulations around them, and a number of resolutions need to be made by Council to allow for them. We are recommending that Council authorize the provision of a special ballot for the election this year. Also that Council authorize early acceptance of applications for special ballots, and we're suggesting dates between July 10th and 4:30 p.m. on Election Day. Also, along with that, Council also needs to define what form applications will be accepted in. It's not in your recommendation, but administration is recommending that Council allow ballots or applications to be made in writing, in person, by telephone, or by email. And also, Council must notify the minister if they do decide to allow for special ballots during the election. So administration is recommending those three matters.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Deputy Mayor Graychuk?
Thank you, Your Worship. How do we confirm that if it's done by telephone that they don't do it twice or three times or six?
So the voting actually would not take place by telephone. It's just the application to be able to vote by a mail-in ballot, basically.
So they phone in
They
for an
phone-
application?
Correct. They phone in and ask for a special ballot. They need to make application and provide information such as who they are, where they live, why they're asking for a special ballot. Those are all taken into consideration. And then if approved, they are sent a number of envelopes with a ballot inside to vote and send it back in for Election Day.
So can administration refuse a special for any reason?
There are a number of reasons. For instance, if they do not provide the proper ID, it depends on what they provide to us. It could be an invalid ballot or a spoiled ballot, but we wouldn't reject someone's application unless there was a legitimate reason, like they don't live in the town of Strathmore.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I didn't catch who was first. Councillor Sobel.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just carrying on with Councillor Graychuk, so would it be your intention to coordinate the receipt of a special ballot with the master list to avoid, I think where he was going, and I think it's a valid issue, to avoid a person perhaps fraudulently using another person's name at the main office, at the main polling booth.
Right, so like, as I indicated, there are a number of identification, there's ID requirements, for people being able to vote by special ballot. There is a list that you have to keep when people apply. You have to keep a register of who's applying, and you have to check off as those come in when you receive them. So there are checks in place that are legislated in the Local Authorities Election Act that you have to follow in order to prevent such cases.
Great, thanks. And I'm down to 2 questions now. The second one is, in regards to the 4 manners in which we can accept an application, does that have to be specified in the motion?
Yes, it does.
So can you just give me that again?
Yes, so actually, under the Local Authorities Election Act, there are 5 different ways that you can apply. It's in writing, in person, by telephone, by email, or by fax. And it must be included in the resolution because that resolution has to be sent to the minister for approval.
Thank you. And lastly, is there any intention of administration, how is this going to be advertised? Is there any specific direction you're going with this, or is it just going to be newspaper advertising?
No, we will engage all forms of advertising that we do through our social media, website, newspaper, as much as we can to get it out there. Special ballot is really for people who are incapacitated, who cannot make it to a voting station. For snowbirds, for instance, people that go south for the winter, and actually for election workers who are working on that day and can't vote. So those are who it's mainly provided for.
I know we're still in questions, but I just want to congratulate you on the work. I know this is a lot of work, but it is very fruitful. This is very meaningful. There are people in our community who just, other than those that you just described, that haven't been able to vote, and I'm hoping that this will clear that up. So thank you very much.
Councillor Bookland?
Thank you, Your Worship. So the special ballots are available after July 10th?
Yes, they will be available between July 10th and 4:30 p.m. on Election Day.
So I'm trying to figure out how this works. So you're sitting in Phoenix on Election Day, which is whatever day that is, October 16th, and you have a special ballot.
Your Worship, so special ballots, so the way it works is people can apply between July 10th and
October 16th.
thank you, October 16th. After nomination day, once we know who the candidates are, they will be sent a ballot, and they will have to send it in by the close of our polls, of our polling stations.
So from nomination day to election day.
Correct.
Okay, good. I was curious how that was going to work. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Fuel?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just as a follow-up to Councillor Blockland's question, so if they send it in, how would they send in their vote on Election Day by the time the polling stations close? I'm a little confused.
So they would have to mail their ballot back in between nomination day or after nominations have been verified and election day. It has to be in. If we receive anything late after the closing of the polls, it won't be counted.
So what if someone mails in a ballot and it arrives on Election Day? Or, like, how do they know that their ballot is going to be counted? Or how will that determining winners in the election, I guess? If their ballot has to be in, like you have to have it on the day of the election, is that what you're saying?
Before closing
Okay.
of the polls on election day,
Okay,
yes.
so it can't be postmarked that day or anything like that?
No, it has to be on
It
that
has to
day.
be received?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Deputy Mayor Graychuk?
Thank you. So just faxes aren't legal?
No, it must be by mail.
Okay, thank you.
No further questions? My question to you then, Ms. Swadsky, is do you want this on 3 separate motions?
Yes, please, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. I'll entertain some motions.
I would move that special ballots be authorized for the 2017 election.
Do you want it as we
Yes,
have it
as it's
printed
there.
here?
Well,
Okay,
yeah, sorry,
okay,
I
just
was
want to
looking
make
at the
sure.
bottom
I just want to make
recommendation
sure.
instead of the front.
Okay. No further discussion in regards to it? Councillor Sobel?
No.
No? Okay, sorry. We have a motion to authorize for the provision of a special ballot for electors who are unable to attend an advance poll or a voting station on election day. All in favor? Carried.
Your Worship, I would move that council authorize applications for special ballots to be accepted at any time between July 10th, 2017 and 4:30 PM on Election Day, October 16th, 2017.
Thank you. No discussion? All in favor?
Your Worship.
Yes?
As per communication we've had with the clerk, we have to add how these applications will be accepted. So as a friendly amendment, could I add that applications for special ballots may only be received in writing, in person, in telephone, by email, or by fax?
And Councillor Fiol, you will accept the friendly amendment?
Yes, I will.
Okay. We have it amended. And all in, Deputy Mayor Graychuk, you have your light on?
No,
Okay. Okay. We have a motion to authorize application for special ballots and the way that we may receive the request for the special ballots at any time between July 10th, 2017 and 4:30 on Election Day, October 16th. No further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Deputy Mayor.
Your Worship, I move that council notify the minister that a resolution has been passed to accept early application for special ballots.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next item on our report is committee reports.
You just want a motion, you want?
Please. Councillor Peterson?
I would move that council accept the reports of the Seniors Advisory Committee, the
Sustainability.
Canada 150 Planning Committee, the Downtown Design Review Committee, the Sustainability Committee.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Graychuk?
I keep forgetting my light on.
Okay, I'm sorry. No discussion, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. And we have a report from Wademsa.
I can speak to that.
Please, Councillor Peterson?
First of all, I'd like to thank Councillor Blockland for attending the last meeting in my absence. And this is the first time in my term on council that we have a financial report from Wademsa specifically before us. And the reason for that is that up until very recently, the County of Wheatland handled all of the books of Wademsa. And that ended at the end of December, and a transfer occurred. And the Wademsa support staff and their director have worked very, very diligently to pull all that together, and now are fully independent. And what you see before you is a full accounting of the Wheatland and Adjacent Districts Emergency Medical Services Association financial statements. And as you can see, they're doing fine. And many thanks to that group for all the work that they've done. And I don't know if Councillor Blockland has anything that he wants to add.
Thank you very much,
So
Councillor.
I would move to accept the report for information, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Peterson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. And the next item on there is reports from councillors from committees on which they sit. And I don't know as we have,
I can just take very briefly.
would you? Please, Councillor Peterson.
So I am appointed to sit on the overnight shelter, Strathmore overnight shelter. I'd just like to report that the due diligence, which they have been charged to meet code, is going along very, very well, and that community has raised a great deal of money to be able to finish that, and they've got their sprinkler system up. And I think it's all tied in at this point, and they're hoping to be fully operational by the fall. And they've also received a great deal of support from local personnel, professional personnel, in terms of being able to train people into the future for the operation of that temporary transitional shelter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Peterson. And did you want to just make a motion that that report be received for information also?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Is there any other member of council that wants to report on any committee they sit? No? Okay. Next item on our agenda is bylaw 1615 road closure. And Ms. Royer, you have the floor.
Good evening, Your Worship. For those who don't know me, I'm Renee Royer, and I'm the Senior Planner in the Planning Department here. This evening, I'm here to present bylaw 1615 for second and third readings. This has a little bit of a history. As outlined in the request for decision report, bylaw 1615 is a road closure bylaw affecting 0.017 hectares of Canal Avenue adjacent to the Murray dealership, which is also adjacent to Highway number 1, as shown on the map here. The purpose of the road closure is to allow a property line adjustment, which addresses the frontage modifications of the dealership property and create a regional pathway improvement within the adjacent boulevard, and I have further slides showing this. On November 16th, 2016, Council gave first reading to this bylaw, and administration circulated the road closure to third-party interests and the adjacent landowners. No concerns or objections were noted during that time, and advertisements for the bylaw were published in the Strathmore Times on December 23rd and December 30th of 2016. The first reading of the bylaw was forwarded to the Minister of Transportation for approval in May, and we received the approval, which is also included as an appendix to the report. We received that back on June 8th, 2017, prior to bringing the bylaw back to council this evening for the second and third readings. The aerial map shows the area of road closure and its location within the town of Strathmore, outlined here in red, and then showing a further zoomed image in this slide of the affected road closure and its proximity to the Highway number 1. And then I've zoomed in even further to show the red area outlined here is the portion of land that will be consolidated with 100 Canal Avenue and the Murray Chrysler dealership. And the area outlined in green is the portion of the dealership land that is to be dedicated for additional road widening and boulevard improvements, including a public pathway. And then this last slide shows the pathway in relation to the actual site and how that would be configured in the boulevard. And administration recommends that council authorize the administration to register bylaw 1615 together with the required documentation to land titles. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions? I'll take a motion for second reading.
I'm ready with that motion, Your Worship.
Please, Councillor Sullivan.
I'd move that council give second reading to bylaw number 16-15.
We have a motion for second reading for bylaw 16-15. All in favor? Carried. Deputy Mayor?
Your Worship, I'll move that we give third reading and to bylaw number 16-15.
Thank you very much. No discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, Ms. Royer.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is questions between council. And the first item on there is CRISP funding, and that one's going to fall to me. I forget the exact date, but I think it was the week before last. I attended the Wheatland County offices, and they presented me with a check for $194,000 as part of the CRISP funding. And I'm looking for my notes, and I'm not having any luck finding my notes. CRISP funding is a community fund that the Wheatland County has set up to enable the surrounding communities to have a secure fund each year so that they can meet needs of such things like the recreation facility that we are doing as a joint venture. The $194,000 is given to us to help us pay for stuff like the operations for the facility or other items that we may want to use, such as operations for the arena, for items that members from Wheatland County will come into our community and use. The $194,000 will go a long way to support those kinds of programs. And we indeed thank Wheatland County for all that they do in regards to these funds. Last year, they gave us, if I remember correctly, $204,000. And it's based, the funds that they give to us are based on their tax base. So I would have to suggest that their tax base dropped a little bit this year. But they were still able to give us some funding. So on behalf of Town Council and the citizens of Strathmore, our sincere thank you to Wheatland County for this funding. And 12.2, Councillor Peterson?
No, could I ask a question on that?
Yes, by all means.
Sorry, on that's got nothing to do with the linear utility footage.
Without going into it, I'm not sure exactly how Wheatland County bases the funding for the CRISP funding. Mr. Teedy?
They utilized their assessment base in part.
It is a linear taxation.
So this linear discussion that we've had over the years, the last couple of years, as far as the underground utilities or and overheads that we were to share with us, some percentage of it, it's got nothing to do with this.
Indirectly, I think they've come forward with the funding, yes. Their calculation, they have not shared in detail their calculation. I'm aware of it a little bit, but not all the details to answer definite questions from council on it.
Is there a way we can find out from them, because I would like to really, so that there's a discussion on it, is it from the linear, or is it not, or is it just from the tax base? Is there a way we can find out specifically?
Yes, we can find out.
Okay, thank you.
And we will if council directs us to do that.
Because I would like, I don't know about the rest of council, it makes a difference to us, because we had a big discussion on the linear footage financial. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, when I get a chance in the next few days, I will phone the Reeve and ask them how they fund the CRISP funding, whether it's on all of their tax base or just linear, because their linear taxes are included in their tax base.
Yeah, but it's a separate line on their agenda.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And they agreed, I don't know if, and maybe someone knows that provincially they were supposed to.
Okay.
Share
I think Ms. Sawatsky has the information, because last year it was mentioned how they did it.
Your Worship, just by going off the Wheatland County's website, it says that the amounts are based on the community service population percentage.
Okay. I still think Deputy Mayor Graychuk would like a little more information on that, and I'll meet with Deputy Mayor Graychuk and see if I can provide the information he needs. Would that be okay with you, sir?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Fuel?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a question in general about the actual funding that's coming to the town of Strathmore. Do we then meet at a later date to possibly decide where to allocate the CRISP funding that has just been given to us? I'm just curious as to the utilization of it.
Did you wish to answer that, Mr. Keating?
The funding went into general revenue, and that's how it was used, although we try to use it for recreational purposes.
So I guess my follow-up question then to Mel would be, will there be some sort of documentation or statement as to show which recreation programs may have benefited from this 2017 CRISP funding?
It was utilized for facility enhancements at the Family Center, the Aquatic Center, those two facilities.
Okay, thank you.
The next one started.
No further questions. Councillor Peterson?
Just a couple statements, Your Worship. I just wanted to highlight reports in our local papers regarding 4 students from Strathmore who are involved in the Calgary Stampede stage show in the Canada 150 event. I think this is really noteworthy. I think it's a wonderful thing that these 4 young people have been chosen out of many to participate in this. It's a great honor, and I offer them I know all of us do our fullest congratulations, and boy, are they ever working hard. One of them is Councillor Blockland's granddaughter, and we hear about the efforts that they're putting in. The other thing I'd like to highlight, Your Worship, is that very recently our Director of Emergency Services, our Fire Chief, received the Outstanding Albertan Award, Canada 150 Award for Alberta at Rogers Place. And I'd like him to show that award, if he would, and because he and his wife both received this award, and they received it for a very special purpose. And I think it's very noteworthy. Mr. West and his wife presented a video of support for I believe, why don't you tell them? You can be much more articulate than I am.
My wife and I did a video as part of this Canada 150 on bone marrow and stem cell transplant to try and bring awareness and start some kind of a movement towards that. I donated bone marrow to an unrelated recipient in 1999, and my wife donated her stem cells last year to her sister. So we're both pretty close to that program and process, and we both have people that we know that have are living successful and happy and healthy lives now as a result of our opportunity to be a match.
Thank you, Chief West, on behalf of council. Thank you very much for what you do. That speaks volumes in regards to what kind of a person you are. So, thank you. You have some other items, Councillor Peterson?
I just have an admin inquiry, Your Worship.
Go ahead.
Thank you. This question is to administration, but for the future and not requiring any answer in the near future. I certainly don't expect this. And it is probably a planning and development question. The Ranch Estates Mobile Park has irrigation service in its community, and it's my understanding, thanks to Councillor Graychuk, that when this area was developed, the developers included irrigation as part of this, as the park runs adjacent and parallel to the WID Canal. On behalf of constituents, I'd like information on the possibility as to how or if other communities in proximity to canals might be able to access a similar option. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you.
And I have no time frame on this. I know where you're at in terms of tasks, and so months from now would be fine.
And is that all you had, Councillor Peterson?
It is. Thank you,
Okay.
Your Worship.
The other item, one other item that I wish to bring forward is today, the town of Strathmore received from Member of Parliament, the Honourable Martin Shields, a certificate of appreciation and a medal. The certificate of appreciation says, to the town, proudly presented to the town of Strathmore in recognition of outstanding contributions made to our community as Canada celebrates its 150th anniversary of Confederation. And our Member of Parliament, Martin Shields, sent that in to us. And he also provided a medal to the town of Strathmore. And it says House of Commons on it, Canada 150, and on the back it says Martin Shields, Bow River, Member of Parliament. And I'll leave this out for people to see if they wish. It will be with the other stuff that we have available for people to view. But to our Member of Parliament, as an example, I know Martin Shields is as dedicated and as caring as any Member of Parliament could possibly be for their constituency. He attended, the best to my ability that I've been able to keep track of what he did, he attended 8 communities on Canada Day to bring greetings. He does this consistently time after time when he's not in the House of Commons, and he attends the communities to hear and to see what's happening in those communities. He wants to find out what's going on. And we had an opportunity to walk around, because I introduced him at 3 o'clock at the park. We had an opportunity to walk around afterwards, and people were surprised that he would stop and talk to them and ask how they were doing and those kinds of things. And the Honourable Martin Shields says, that's my job. He wants to find out what's going on. So on behalf of all of us, council and citizens, I say thank you to Martin Shields for all he does. The other item that I want to bring forward is an error by omission that I did on Canada Day, and it was brought forward by Councillor Sobel to my attention. And Councillor Sobel, before I go into that, I would ask your permission if I could read your email that you sent to me in regards to this.
Certainly.
Okay. Once again, Mayor, thank you for including your council as representatives of our community at a town function. So self-absorbed and rude, Bob. I apologize to council. I did not say when I did my greetings at 11 o'clock that it was on behalf of town council. I apologize to council. It wasn't my intention. It was an oversight, and it was an omission on my part. I did bring it forward at 3 o'clock when I was when I introduced the Honourable Martin Shields. The other error that I made by omission on Canada Day is I did not thank the Legion, the RCMP, and the Air Cadets for raising our flag that day. They do this year after year, and every year we can count on them to be there to raise our flag on Canada Day. And to those groups, they are dedicated to our community. And I say on behalf of Town Council and the citizens of Strathmore, thank you very much for what they have done. I also, at 11 o'clock, failed to say thank you to the volunteers and to the staff for all the work that they did on Canada Day. And in a lot of cases, many of those people worked for months behind the scenes, making sure that our Canada Day ran so smoothly. They did an absolutely phenomenal job, and I know many members of council, including myself, received compliments for all of the work they did, all of the work that they did, and how well things ran on Canada Day and on July 2nd, because that was also part of the Canada 150 group. And to all of those volunteers and to all of those staff, a deep, deep thank you. Those are all of my comments that I have to bring forward. And if there's nothing further, we will take a motion to go in camera.
So move, Your Worship.
We have a motion to go in camera under Freedom of Information Protection and Privacy, Section 24 and Section 16. Thank you very much.